The screen last week, January 6th. Zoltan said, let's ship v3. And then Benedek said, let's ship 1.11. So today, 1/13/2026, topics. Second topic, 3. We have another number. It's like lottery. What number?
Well, it's probably too early for harvest, but if we were to talk about it, then the number would be 8, 9.
Okay, so I will just talk to Mike because nobody is from the US. Oh, Mike is here. Mike, if you were to ask a kid these days, give me a number, what would they say?
6, 7.
6, 7. And I'm just asking Mike because it's a very US thing. This is the most stupid thing.
Stupid.
Yeah. It's like somebody on YouTube one day said the 6, 7 and made the meme about it. And all the kids now, when you ask them a question, they just say 6, 7 because it's funny. And yeah, so that's the kids today. So that's why, like, when I say, give me a number, I'm like, I'm so bored now. Like, oh boy. Fucking kids.
Wow.
Yeah.
I guess you heard about this from your kids, I assume.
Yeah. And also
yeah. I'm also terminally online, but fortunately haven't heard about this one. And but my sister regularly sends me like TikTok and Instagram videos.
I'm sure it will come to Europe also at some point because very influenced by US, so they won't understand why, but they will do the same thing. Right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Let's wait for it. You'll tell me.
Wait, are they going to have their own number or they're going to repeat the same number?
I think the same number.
Probably the same,
because that's not as cool as the US. Otherwise, like you have to use the same number. And this way you are part of the people who understand and you just follow, right? So we'll wait for that. So we have England, Germany, Austria now, Austria and France. So you'll tell us, people, the first time you see it or hear it somewhere. And now you get it, that it's so stupid and you don't get why.
I keep my eyes open.
6, 7, fuck them. Like my kids, like ask them a question, like, what do you want to eat today? 6, 7. I'm like, dude, you eat nothing. And that's it.
I see.
I should suggest it for the next version of Aspire release. I will do that today. When they ask what should be the next Aspire version, I should tell them 6, 7, just to type fun and see their world crumble. Okay, so 1.11, 3 demos. Anyone has demos?
I might have one if I can get it together.
Let's start with Benedek then. What do you want to talk about?
Honestly, I just wanted to drop in, not much. You can see the release on GitHub. There's compared to 1.10, there's more than 100 contributors. And overall, I think more than 660 changes. There are a couple issues which has multiple pull requests associated with it, but yeah, it's more than 100, more than 600 for sure, like individual stuff that's happened. Yeah, a lot of cleanup, a lot of performance indexing, NuGet package updates, client-side library updates. Yeah, a lot of stuff. I see some former Lombric team members as well in the contributor. Lots of debugs. Yes, probably, yeah. You can you can never rule that out. But yeah, I think it's pretty big occasion. So yeah, very likely that this is the last release. Although Gabor is actually working on some verifying some things that were suggested by a code scanning tool that one of our clients is using. So there might actually be a follow-up patch release if we validate that those findings are real and fix them. So yeah, but this has been in the works for a long time. But I'm really happy that we finally have this. Yeah.
Nice, good job. Free at last. I'm looking at the pictures of people I remember.
I did look at it for a long time. Yeah.
And this one also I remember. Still actually one Orchard Core, I believe. Sam, I'm surprised I didn't see that. I would like to know what he contributed.
By the way, I think that the profile icon list, I think that's incomplete because what it says is Jean, Michael, Singh, and 82 other contributors. But actually, the full release notes, I checked and it should be more than 100. So I'm not sure what happened there. And I selected 1.10 as the base for this release, so it should show everyone who contributed to 1.10.1 to 3 and 4, plus the dev branch since 1.10. But I don't know. It's weird.
So recently you did 1.10.4, and now there is 1.11. Okay, awesome, good job.
By the way, I just noticed that not just in Orchard 1, but also in Orchard Core, there is one contribution each from Jean Thierry in 2024. So yeah, he's a force for good, even after he's gone.
So we'll see how many deploy it. Well, Lombik will deploy it, maybe.
Actually, we won't probably.
Good job.
But okay. we are upgrading one of our client solution projects right now. Gabor is working on it, by the way. So yeah.
That is done. Then let's do the status before looking at 3.0. So Orchard Core. Just my window. And last week. 1.6. Here. Wow, nothing. So we have this one. Oh, that's a PR. We have this one. Oh, no, sorry, that's here. The 8 is before the 6 in this case. Okay. Let's focus on main then. Where is main? Wait. Okay, here. Main is at the bottom. Filter. Everything. So I want that. Then I want to remove my branching. So I have that. Okay, let's remove siderows. Main 1.6. Then we have this one. Log an error during indexing, even when the connection fails to rollback. Okay. Improve wording in project status section. Okay. Contributors update, fix path normalization, because slashes and backslashes. This is a method that already exists. Now it's called more often in the blob storage support, AWS and blob file store. New contributor, Migrate Media and Resources module from Gulp. So this one was merged, and then I found an issue with that. So migrate media and resources modules from Gulp to Asset Manager pipeline. So by doing that, we don't need Gulp anymore. So this should remove the Gulp file, okay? And it's adding an assets.json file in the media and the resources folder because Trumbowing needed it. Trumbowing needed a new, well, and also media needed a new action, which is called concat. So we have a new concat.mjs. The other ones have been updated such that any action that contains a list of files won't overflow the command line. So it's like all the arguments are saved in an environment variable, and then each command will read this environment variable. This was the case because of Trumbowing. You see here lots of files, and assets.json here lists many files. And if you concatenate all these files in the command line, then on Windows, it will be too big, apparently, at least on the CI or somehow. So that's why it's taking this thing and encoding it in environment variable to pass to each sub-action. And that's this piece of code here. What else? So one issue with that change. So first, it's documented everything correctly, like deprecating the Gulp pipeline and explaining how to migrate, what to use. Yarn build. Cool. So one issue is if you look at the Gulp assets.json, there was this thing, generate RTL true, and same thing for Trumbowing. And the new assets.json, it was missed. So these two assets will not generate their attributes on the SCSS to make it compatible with right to left text. And that's a different PR I created, but shows other issues. So we'll look at the comment later. But that's something that is broken in main. And I saw that by checking a PR that was updating some RTL text, and there was a merge conflict because the dir attribute was lost. So it was blocking the other PR, and that's how I figured that this one was not correct. So we need to fix it. Then renovate updating GraphQL packages and updating AWS SDK and Cypress. And that's it. No big feature this week. So let's look at the repository for what's blocking 3.0 and also this PR that is an issue with globalization. Sorry, right to left. So for 3.0, we have PRs. The milestone 3.0.
Should I do the demo real quick and then we can
sure.
spend the rest of the time on PRs?
Okay. Good.
Yeah. Do you want me to take over?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, when you're ready.
Oh, you see my screen?
Yeah.
All right, so there's been a lot since my last demo for the AI. There has been a lot of changes to the AI suite. There's a lot more functionality. There's a lot more features. There's just a lot of stuff. I just counted, actually, there's 23 features in the AI suite. It all does different things. The one that I want to demo today is we've seen how we can create a profile in the past where you can create a profile, you can specify the deployment, whatever information you want for the AI, and then you'll be able to chat with that model. Now we kind of wanted a way to make it easier. We just want like a playground, a play where we can just create a chat instance, and I want to configure it whichever way I want, and then I want to chat with that AI model. And so I've created these features right here, 1, 2, 3, 4. The one that starts or ends with chat interactions here. So new features, those. So this chat interaction allow you to create basically a playground where you can chat with AI. So the way how you do that is that you go to the artificial intelligence tab, and then you'll see a chat interactions. And if you click on it here, you can add an interaction. And this prompts you to see whichever provider you want to use. So in my case, I just want to use the Azure OpenAI, and I can start here. And as you can see, I have Playground ready to go. Here you can really, you can give the AI instructions. What do you want the AI to do for you? You can change the parameters. You can create a title for your AI instance. For example, what is Azure? Right, and then you can chat with the model. You can change the deployment right here. So if you can add more deployment, we've seen it previously, and then you can connect to a specific deployment. So if you want to change the model, if you want to use a specific model, you can change whatever you want. With AI, with Azure AI, because it supports data sources, we also have data sources. So you can actually add data source to where the data needs to come from, like for like RAG. And then you'll be able to connect it, and then it'll ask question about the data that you attached only. Also, you can attach tools. So if you have tools here, like if you want to create content, clone contents, you can say, I want to be able to manage contents, and then you can tell it, hey, create a blog for me, and it will create a blog for you about a specific topic. So those are all the tools you can select from. Well, these tools belong to another feature. It's called the Orchard Agent. So if you have that feature enabled, then you're able to select these tools. If not, you won't see this. And then there was another feature. It's called Interaction Documents. When you enable that, it'll add this tab right here. This is actually a pretty cool tab. You can attach documents. So you can attach any document you want, and you can chat against those documents. So if you have a bunch of files that you want to run analytics on or ask a bunch of questions on, you can just drag and drop them here and then ask AI questions about it. So for example, I actually, for the demo, I downloaded a file that I have no idea what's the content of it, but I asked AI about it, and so I know what to ask it now. So here I just attached this file, and now I can just chat and ask it questions about that file. For example, here I'm copying questions that I already have against, which will give me information from that file. So you can see those responses are coming from my document that I just attached. So it kind of allows you to be able to do this, which is just attach a bunch of documents and then ask questions about them. And as you can see, all the parameters are optional, so you can change the parameters. I actually haven't tested the tools here, but we can try the tools here and see if we encounter any problems. Or create. And I honestly don't know if it's going to work or not because I haven't tested it. But since these tools are available, it should be able to. No, it's not aware of my tools yet. But yeah, that's the idea, is that you'll be able to select tools, and then and these tools you'll be able to apply or create functionality or like an AI agent. But yeah, that's it. You can name your interaction, and then you can go back to them. You can create another interaction. You can create an interaction from here. You can just create an empty chat, or you can say chat with a preset existing settings. So you'll basically have a brand new chat with the same settings, and you can just create a new chat, or you can just clear your history and start over again. And that's it. And you can do the same thing from here. You can empty chat, or you can delete it, whatever. You can search for them. This is the same UI. We obviously have an Orchard. And that feature, this is the feature, the interaction documents. That's the one that allow you to upload documents. There's another feature here to allow you to support OpenXML files like docx and XML, and this one supports PDFs. By default, it supports basic extensions like text and CVS and things like that. But yeah, I just thought I would, just kind of give an update. I haven't done any demos lately on AI, even though there's a lot of new functionality. That's it.
Sorry. So the tools, they are MCP tools?
Yes.
And how do you register them?
There is there is all that inside the module, which is the agent module right here. So you can check it out, but you'll see here, this is how you register a new tool. So this one lists all time zones. So that's how you register it.
What is this all time zone? It's a type, it's a class?
Yeah, it's a class. Yep.
Can you show it?
Yeah.
It's your custom thing.
No, it uses the Microsoft AI extension.
It's a function. Okay. So
yeah.
I would suggest to use the MCP C# SDK then.
Who said I wasn't?
You are?
Yeah, the extensions.
Are you?
Yeah.
No, so that's okay. That's why. Okay, I will repeat. So I would suggest to use the MCP C# SDK then, which is not the Microsoft Extensions AI.
MCP
C# SDK.
I don't know which one. Are you referring to the? I think that's.
So
which one?
I will give you a link.
MCP
C# SDK. I'm googling it, and I click on the first link, and that's it.
This one right here, yeah.
Yep. So that's
I am
SDK.
using it, but this one uses also the Microsoft extensions.
So if you are using it, you will not need to inherit from AI function. That's why I'm saying and also in your namespaces, you will be using the model context protocol namespace and not the Microsoft extension AI namespace. That's why I think you don't use the MCP C# because here
I'm using it for MCP clients because there's a feature here for MCP clients, so MCP connections. So we use that to allow you to connect to MCP servers.
Okay, but for your tools, you could also use the MCP C# SDK because it will provide helpers to extract the tools from methods. So you just have to attribute the methods with the name and the title and description. So you don't have to do it in the registration. Just attribute the types, and then you can just add your class as an MCP tool. You say add MCP tool. in your startup, and that's it. And maybe it will also do more things.
The model context protocol project uses at the end
Probably.
AI function,
Yeah.
AI tools. That's what it does.
Yeah, probably. So that's why you won't have to do as much, because the SDK will do that for you.
I mean, I don't know. I would have to look, but in this case, you define a function. You still have to define a function with their SDK, just like this. And then maybe the registration is different, but here it's the same thing. Here you just register it, and the reason why you register it, because we use it for the UI to provide you information. Like if you go, I have to still see what exactly you're talking about, but you go in here, but you see here like the title, the description. That's a UI.
I'm sure you will see that too. Yeah, it's just about the registration and the definition of MCP tools. Look at the SDK, and it might feel easier to define the tools using the SDK than the way you did, like the SDK is doing. So you are rewriting what the SDK is doing. That's what I'm saying. So maybe try.
Yeah, I can definitely for sure look at it again.
Then the next thing you could do, if not done yet, is have a new feature that's called MCP server that will instantiate an MCP server with authentication, such that you can use a client like Copilot CLI, like Cloud Code, like GitHub CLI, GitHub Copilot CLI, anything to connect to Orchard, so you can drive Orchard from outside of Orchard. So whatever you need in the chat.
It's right here.
So you have it? Okay, good. Why didn't you demo that? Oh, it's a PR. Oh.
It's ready. I'm testing it. But yeah, it's there. There's the implementation, and it's using that module context protocol SDK.
SDK, yeah. You see, you have it at the client side, you have it at the server side, but you're not using it the middle side, which is the tool definition. Maybe that's you should look into that. Do you support authentication for your server?
OpenID. I mean, you could use the OpenID authentication.
So that will work. You might want to allow also API key, so it's easier to configure in your client. I don't know.
But do we have API keys in Orchard?
Well, your server can generate an API key, or we can define it in the app settings as an option, right?
Yeah.
Or in the admin, such that it's easy from the client to set it up, and you don't have to set up OpenID to communicate to your thing.
That's true, but
the SDK supports.
I don't know if API keys are as secure as.
Yes, they are, because the ID is at least local development. So it's as secure as how the API key is private, as long as you communicate on HTTPS. But OpenID, same thing, as long as you communicate on HTTPS.
Yeah.
So it's just in terms of setup, this way people can do that locally without. So if you had options, an option could be no authentication, which is totally unsecure, but super useful if you set up locally your site and you want to start generating content using AI. Or the second level is API key, because you can set a secret key or generate it in the admin and copy paste it in your .copilot file or whatever file. And then the third level is OpenID, which also is interesting, because maybe then you can have user context and allow some tools per users, or have context for the user, or I don't know. That's different. Or also use it remotely, because then you can connect to a running instance securely, because it will be authenticated using OAuth. And then you can also use something like ChatGPT on the web to talk to your website, because ChatGPT or Cloud Code or Cloud Online, they support OAuth authentication. So that might be interesting as a scenario to show that.
Yeah, I can definitely add
That's
it.
great.
I would I would have to have an AI or a UI for managing the API keys.
Yeah, well, yeah, or just, well, the UI is as simple as a text box, like generate a random key, or even simpler, just put that in the options, app settings. Create a field app settings, and then let whatever the user type there as a key.
Yeah, we can do that. But then, if you really want to use that in production, you might not want to share the same key with.
Exactly. Then another problem. So that's why I'm saying it should have the option to say no authentication, but don't do that in production. API keys, be careful in production, and OpenID, do whatever you want. But the three options might be super interesting because the three of them are supported by the MCP server. So you just have to plug these options to the SDK. There is no logic to add. It supports it.
Yep. Yeah, no, for sure.
That just opens more demos. Like the demo you did is within Orchard. Now you can show using Copilot, so you can automate stuff. Now you can do a GitHub workflow using Copilot CLI that will connect to your Orchard instance and write content or review stuff. Or you can use Copilot chat to talk to your local dev instance to create content if you don't want to do it from the chat. Or then you can say iterate over each tenant and for each tenant do something because you don't want to connect to each tenant's chat. That's why you have the MCP server. So in ChatGPT, I would be a great demo. Like you have a site online deployed, foo.com, and with ChatGPT, you show how you can authenticate to this site and then start using ChatGPT to manage your content, create, review, whatever, create a site, templates, and see it live. That opens up to lots of demos.
For sure.
Awesome. That's great. Or if it's an MCP server and you support Aspire, then Aspire exposes all the MCP servers as resources and make it available to GitHub Copilot. It's another way to do that if you don't want to connect directly. Like you could even say like then orchestrate different resources like Redis, Postgres, whatever, Azure Storage, and then your local Copilot chat would have access to Orchard, Redis, Azure, and everything, and check stuff or whatever. Cool demo. Thank you. So going back to the code. I was on the PR side, that's what I Googled. And then we have 3 assigned to 3.0. The RTL broken following the PR I showed. We have this one that, the two of them actually, that we assigned to Copilot tasks. So I think this one is done. I approved it, and I think George also approved it. So this is the issue. And then there is a PR, this one. And we got 2 approvals. It's beautiful. And we checked during triage last week that everyone was fine, and then we approved and waited for another one. So it did everything as we wanted with proofs. So we'll merge it. And then this one is closed. This one was also assigned to Copilot, but needs more review. We said we'll do it on next Thursday because it needs more time to understand what was done. We want. So it followed what we asked, but there was some ambiguity, and we actually want not only a new interface, but also, I believe, a new class. So to also split the two of them, because right now it just kept the same class, implementing the 2 interfaces. So yes, the clients will resolve one or the other, but we might want to still split the behavior and maybe move one of the implementations in a different class. So that was one thing to follow up on Thursday. Related to that, there is a thing while George is here. This one, replace dynamic content card shapes with strongly typed shapes. Just because we saw some views were creating shapefactory.new, something like that. So shape with this name, this type dynamically, So we said, let's create strongly typed classes for these ones. So 3 new classes: content card shape, widget shape, and card frame shape, which are the ones that were created this way. But the question was, where do we put these classes? And so I tried, everything was working. That's still some feedback. And then George said something. George said, module-to-module references should not be done. Correct. The shape classes need to go to a common core abstraction. So here, because we created classes, Flows wants to use these classes, but we put them in the widgets module. And we don't want Flows to depend on the widgets module. So George suggests a new core or abstractions project. Well, not a new. Need to go to a core or an abstractions project. Then I said, Copilot, do it. And then it moved it to the Flows module.
Chat interaction.
And then something else needs to now reference flows.core. So we said, well, I said, move content. What did I say? No, this is what it did. Then I said, hey, George, should the shapes not be in flow, but in a new widget.core instead? George says, don't add new projects. We already have too many. Move them to orchard.core.displaymanagement.shapes. Okay, which I think I tried. But the issue is that this package, this project doesn't reference content management. It's purely for display management. There is no content management dependency. And the content, what are they called? The content card that we have, they depend on content items. So this one, then we will have to the dependency, which I don't like because they are like content agnostic. So say move these. So I said then I move them to the abstractions. So first it moved them to namespace and no, to the project abstractions. Because well, maybe not. I attempted, okay. But this creates a, and then there was a circular dependency with this one. Okay, now we are screwed because it was also adding probably a content management. And it says the current location core is appropriate. It's a core project that both flows and widget module can safely reference. Obviously, flows can, widgets, maybe it's new. Avoid module doesn't create. These shapes are specifically for content. So we have a bag. Do we have a bag module, or is it in the flows module, the bag thing?
It's in the flows module.
Okay, that's why then it can make sense to put them then this thing. Unless widget needs now to reference flows and it wasn't before. That's the question I have. And then it says you can move it there. So it moved it, right now they are in content types abstractions /shapes. Okay. It's an abstractions project, but it's just a DTO. There is no logic. So I think that's fine to have these kind of models. So this is creating now, not using new, but using the create async with the correct type. So this code is good. It's updating these things to use the new type and the namespace. What about the dependencies that is creating? It's not creating any new dependency, okay? So that's why it's not a bad choice to put them there. believe. So to me, it looks good. George, what do you think?
I'm okay with it. Yes.
See this one, the content card shape depends on content item.
Yeah, I haven't looked at these circular dependencies. I just thought you were referring to the wrong project. That's why I repeated this. But I think it's fine in content types.
Cool. Okay, approved. Now it will run a functional test. What do we have then? This is was 3, so this will be fixed. Now we have this one. RTL is broken. I broke RTL. And I fixed it quite quickly, then not quickly. And then I think there were some changes from Sultan, and I'm not sure what's the current state of the PR. 35 changes. So what did I do? So I did this commit, which is, oh, there was an issue with that. So I will explain probably on the comment. What's funny is that whenever I will regenerate the thing, it would change Vue.js to 3.5.21, even though we are 3.5.13 here. And this means floating, apparently. So it will take whatever is above that is compatible with what we want. So this constraint here doesn't say we don't want 21, which is fine. But apparently there is something else, some other project that references another thing that references Vue.js with 3.5.21. So the other dependency, that is not this one direct, this is a direct dependency on Vue, but another transitive dependency requires 5.21. And that's why sometimes when you build, you have 21. So I said, okay, then let's make it official and say we require 5.21. This way it's deterministic. Then this is an issue. This is something I didn't update. The fact that we need also to update the resources module to say we are shipping 3.5.21 and not 3.5.13, which was an issue before, because before we were still saying 3.5.13, but actually shipping 3.5.21. These files were loaded, so that was a problem. Like because the npm folder will be 3.5.21.
Yeah, this is a little bit more complex because Yarn and all this stuff can use multiple versions. So the one in the assets manager package JSON is for the build tools only, and the version specified in, for example, in Orchard Core resources should be the one that goes to the front end. So if we specify 3.5.13 in the Orchard Core resources, this should be in the output and not the 21 you set here.
Unless we update resources to say 21.
Yes, but probably some of the changes you done with the concat method does not use the correct node modules folder in the end.
Yes.
This needs to be some cleanup.
Yeah. So, but when we were sending PRs, it would try to update our resources with 21, even though we wanted 13.
Yeah.
Sometimes I've seen PRs before, and also on my PR, I will just rerun locally and say, "Oh, you need to update this file." No, I didn't touch it. Yes, because there is an indirect dependency.
Yeah. This is super weird here.
So, and here, this one, then you see, like
Yeah, that's not correct, but this is correct not because you set the 21 above, but because you changed the
source npm.
The source in the
The node.
assets JSON, the one
Yep,
which
let's
is
look at
getting
that.
copied
So not this one.
from the, not this one, in the Orchard Core Resources asset JSON.
Here at the bottom. Yeah, because
There
it
you
found out
change
that
to the assets node module folder, which is using the 13 version. But this is actually not correct because Jan uses the most common version and moves it to the root node modules folder, and only if some other package JSON uses a different version, it gets there. So this might break in future again.
so this change is
If
wrong.
we change the version somewhere else.
Yeah, that's
It's super
also
weird.
I try to use the same version to be sure that we are just using 21. If we just reference 21, we can
That
just
would be the easiest to always have the same version, but we also support older packages. Those are currently copied manually, but should also be done via npm in future again.
And what I just wanted to do was update that.
Yes.
I just wanted to add them back because they are supported. Okay. Or maybe it was missing section, some files were missing also. So this
anyway,
is what
this works now, right? So move it, merge it.
You think it well, and it was generating, you see my dir now again back. That's good. Trembowig. This thing is using 13. Now I'm confused because we said like 21, and now even though
no, but the 13 is in the package JSON of the resource module.
But then we don't need to change that.
Yeah, that's the problem.
What do you mean that's a problem?
These two versions don't match, but it's okay because you just have to be careful from which node module folders you are copying in the Orchard Core resource.
This was my commit. Let's look at what it looks like now. The comment. Then you say, oh, no, okay, I thought people were changing the PR. Okay, as Pidon. Poor Biden. Who's Biden? Biden is working
wrong. Yeah.
On stuff like on dot files. Why doesn't he name himself Zoltan, right? On GitHub, that would be easier.
Yeah, that would be easier.
As Zoltan already mentioned, I also think there is an issue now set by pipeline. The runtime dependency you should only be defined. The per module package hidden. Okay. Not in the asset manager or root one. So we could remove it and be done. That's what you say?
No, we cannot because some build tool depends on this in the asset. Yeah.
But not directly. So we don't care.
Yeah, but Jan gives a warning if you remove it. I tried that.
That's the one. So no update, the thing, so that's beautiful. And oh no, that's not done. Okay, now it's done. Beautiful code. Here, close all Do I have the PR? Not yet. Oh, I don't want that. I want this one. Pull request. Local pull request branches. Antoine. Here, the file. Okay. So there is this one. That's the general one that you say. Okay, that's the general thing.
Yeah, this is for the build tools.
Okay. Why don't we have a comment there? See, because we can't have comment in JSON documents. So stupid. So that's for the build tools. And you say that if I comment, if I remove that, then it will fail because it will say you can't.
I'm not sure if it fails, but if you do a yarn install, it gives a warning that it's missing.
Oh, okay.
It might resolve it anyway. I'm not sure. No, you need to do yarn install to update the dependencies if you change this.
So I don't want to kill it in the middle.
Yeah. So if there are multiple different versions used here in several package JSON files, yarn will host the most common version in the root node modules folder, and if the third or fourth package JSON uses a different version, it will use the per module node module folder.
Do you know why?
But you can't really distinguish which one is used. This is kind of bad because
so
if you change the so in your current PR you set the source in the asset JSON to the node modules folder of the resource module, right? You used assets/node modules.
Yep. But I can.
And I think this is just currently working in your case because the build tools are using the 21 version, and in the resources file you have the 13 version, and then it moves it to the assets node module folder. But if you update maybe later on the resources to the same version, it will not be in the assets node modules folder, but also in the root node modules folder. So it won't find this anymore and will break in future.
So I removed and I did a yarn install and it's still working and no error. And now I'm wondering if we can also remove this one, view hot reload API. Do you think we need
but
that?
Did you run yarn install?
Yeah.
Not yarn build.
Yeah. Yarn install. I just did that before and then yarn build again. We don't see it, but I can rerun it yarn install just to show you.
Yeah.
I did that just before. So, and like this one also, like I'm wondering, do we need this one? Save it. Because maybe these were necessary with the Gulp pipeline. I don't know.
And yeah, maybe, but there's a warning here.
But if I build everything and it works, it means we don't need it.
Yeah, this may be that yarn just resolved it anyways, because the dependency is not explicitly, but it's still added.
Transitive.
Yes.
Which is fine. Then I don't have to pin anything and have any. It will just pick the version that the dependency needs and don't care.
Yeah, but this doesn't solve our problem because you don't know which version will end up in the root node modules folder.
But that's a step towards solving it. Like, okay, we can ignore that one now and look at each resource. So See here, now it's updating the dependency graph. That is an audit. Yeah, I remember this thing. So it's downloading less stuff. View is okay. It was because of the view, hot reload, whatever. It was downloading 3.5.21. That's the thing. Okay, but apparently we don't need that. So there is this one. Let's say we removed the direct dependencies on views because we don't need that. Then there is this thing here that I changed, but this one, which is the one I changed. Orchard Core Media. This is the RTL. This one is where style triangle. This is the Orchard Core resources. Okay, in the resources we say, oh, we have a view 3 resource. So we have view 2. We say this is this one, and we have view 3, which is okay. This is view 3 resources, and we copy that in action copy. It's the name that is used to copy it. So it's copied in a view 3 folder.
The destination, if you don't specify it, it's in the scripts folder.
So scripts, but under, oh, this is
In
just
the
the
root.
class.
Yeah.
So if I go there,
No, that was correct.
but I need to go to this view. So the
In the
root,
scripts.
and then we'll have view. We don't have a folder. That's
No,
bad.
it's not in the folder. It's in the root.
So here we have a mix of view 2 and view 3 here.
No, because in view 2 is set a destination. It goes to vendor view 2.
Thank you. I didn't see that. So vendor. So here we have view 3.
Yes.
And here there is vendor view 2. Okay, which is the folder here, 6.14. Good. Okay, that's not obvious to me when I read this thing. Okay, like.
No, it's not.
I'm glad you know, because I'm not having.
I looked at it today, so this is just.
So this one is to 6.14, and then if I go in the dub root scripts, if I take view, it's maybe this one, 3.5.13.
Correct.
Because we have the assets here that says no, package JSON here says 3.5.13. Perfect. We ask for 3.5.13. It downloads 3.5.13. This is 3.5.13 in the resources. That's fine. We could bump to 21 one day, but we'll do it explicitly on purpose.
Yeah, but
so here you say these files, when they are restored, they are in a local npm folder.
No, that's a problem. They are not, because if this is the only version specified in any package JSON whatsoever, it goes to the root of modules folder.
Okay,
in the root.
It only
goes in the subdirectory if there are conflicting versions.
Okay.
And then you can't know which version is going to the root node modules folder and which goes to the others. So we can't just use the assets subfolder there.
So where did I say that?
So everything what I say should be taken with a grain of salt, because
Sure.
it's not my it's not my
Where
expertise.
did
here.
I did this change that we want to revert? I did this change.
In the assets JSON.
This one, okay, 305.
So I'm not sure about.
Here, okay.
Yeah.
So this one we want to revert because we want to say go at the root to pick the version. Okay. And I can just do yarn build. I already did yarn install. So ideally, it should change something. Because of Defender, it's super slow, but on Linux or Mac, it will be like 2 seconds. Okay, and then if I go there, nothing has changed. Something has changed because I changed it. Nothing else has changed. No other resource has changed. And is that concerning? Because if we look at I don't know. Is it correct? So here, for instance, no, it's okay. It's taking resources script, the root file at 13, so that's okay. Okay, that's what we want.
Yes.
Which is fixing main. So okay, so it looks good to me. Something crazy I like to do. So let's say I fix that. It's committed. I will do a git clean xdff to clean everything, like I do a nice clone, just to see if I delete everything, including all the node modules, so we don't have any spare thing or spare files that should not be generated. What's happening? And there are 3 commands to run. There is the yarn install, there is the npm install, and there is the yarn.
Yeah, so it does npm, right?
Okay, that's why I was waiting for you to tell me if I was wrong, so that's good. So yarn
I
install
think
and
you
yarn
just need to run yarn and yarn build.
So yarn.
That's how I understood it. I'm not sure if these warnings are critical or not.
Doesn't provide view requested by Vite.js plugin view requires view. Oh, that makes sense. Okay, the Vite.js requires.
And we
that's
don't
fine.
use Suite right now. Maybe it breaks if we use it.
We'll see, because we will have it when we update media. But then that's fine. We'll fix it in the PR that updates media to use Vite.
Yeah,
that's a different issue. But about the same way, like view hot reload API is required by parcel transformer view. Oh, that's why we added view hot reload API, because there was a warning saying.
yeah.
But that's just a warning. So I mean, peer dependencies, they call it. Do we actually care? It's building. And that's why it was added. And then this one will say, oh, I also need view. So then we added view. So okay, the 2 that we just removed. See, that's why. Okay. The same way we don't provide that, even though this one required. And then yard build. There are some errors. Maybe it will resolve itself, just transient conflicts. Maybe I need to close that. Don't think so, but
yeah, something is locked, I think.
And you see there is news. Well, this is just white space because there is nothing. Yeah. Well, these files are removed.
Yeah, because of the error, right?
We care about these files. The admin.
Yeah, they should be there.
No, maybe actually nobody's using that. It's just that it was never cleaned. But there is still an error. So yeah, it doesn't look like something that we need to update because just white spaces. Okay, more things is generated, but again, white space stuff. As soon as I stage them, they will disappear. See nothing, and if I stage them, there is nothing. Yeah, okay, right. Yeah. So it looks good to me. I push, we look at the PR. So if you want to approve, George, or if you don't, you say no. This piece of shit. At least it should fix the RTL.
Yeah, this we can match it. Approve it.
And then just the last one related, but I wanted this one to be merged first because it has RTL. I did a PR to update Monaco version. Apparently, we're using a very old one, and that was also the reason of a bug. Or maybe that's the one that Zoltan pushed on. Yeah. So apparently, we are stuck with this one. Meaning it was started by Copilot and Zoltan tried to ask Copilot to do stuff, so maybe we need to do it locally. And I tried to update Monaco editor, which changes the way the files are created, like the language files, the template, the code language files are completely different. You see, like even the languages are different. They are created in different folder structure. Like all these files, one for each template language. Now they are like this. Not the same, but I tried them, they were working. It's just a different structure. And then see here, this one was updating probably. Oh, and apparently there is a new dependency going. Okay, we'll see. So that's a different thing. Maybe we have more context now to understand what's happening. So I wanted this one first to be merged before working on that. It's dependent. All good. It's late. Thanks, everyone. If you have anything to say, let's talk on Thursday. Bye-bye.
See you guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.
See you. Bye-bye.